The bar was quieter now, with most of the earlier crowd gone. A faint hum of music lingered in the background, accompanied by the occasional clink of glassware as the staff began their nightly cleanup. Lily approached the bartender, explaining Chloe's predicament. He nodded, disappearing into a back room to check the lost and found. As she waited, her gaze swept the nearly empty space and froze. Sanyan was seated at the far end of the bar, his posture relaxed, a half-empty glass of whiskey in his hand. His dark eyes caught hers almost immediately, as if he'd sensed her presence before even looking up. "Lily," he greeted, his voice smooth and steady. A small smile played on his lips, equal parts amused and unreadable. "Twice in one night. What are the odds?" Lily stiffened. "What are you doing here?" He gestured vaguely with his glass. "Unwinding. And you?" His eyes flicked to the bar counter. "Retrieving something for a friend?" She folded her arms, keeping her tone clipped. "It's none of your business." The bartender returned, handing Lily the silver bracelet. She examined it carefully, the tiny ruby charm gleaming faintly under the dim lights. "You came all the way back for that?" Sanyan asked, his tone light but tinged with curiosity. "It's important," Lily said firmly, slipping the bracelet into her pocket. "To her, at least." He raised an eyebrow, swirling the whiskey in his glass. "You're the kind of person who does things like this without hesitation, huh?" Lily straightened, her gaze meeting his with quiet defiance. "When it matters." For a moment, he studied her, the smile fading into something more thoughtful. "You haven't changed much," he said softly. Lily's heart skipped a beat, but she pushed the feeling aside. "You, on the other hand, are exactly the same, still inserting yourself where you're not needed." Sanyan chuckled, setting his glass down. "And yet, we keep running into each other." "Only because you're in places you shouldn't be," she retorted, her voice sharp. He stood, his height and presence casting a shadow over her. "Lily, some things are inevitable." His tone was calm but carried an undercurrent of something unspoken, something that made her skin prickle. "I'm leaving," she said curtly, stepping away. "Good night, then," Sanyan called after her, his voice low and steady. "And Lily." She paused but didn't turn around. "Make sure your friend takes care of that bracelet. It might mean more than she realizes." Lily's brow furrowed, but she didn't respond, her footsteps quickening as she exited the bar. The cold air hit her like a wave, but her mind lingered on his words. As she walked home, the bracelet pressed against her palm, Lily couldn't help but wonder what, if anything, Sanyan truly meant by them, or if he'd just decided to get under her skin for the fun of it. Chloe's gratitude would be worth the trouble, Lily told herself. But in the back of her mind, she knew this was just another layer to the tangled knot that was her history with Sanyan. Back at home, Lily first made a call to the landlord to discuss the matter of ending the lease. The landlord was very understanding. Since Lily had mentioned the situation multiple times before, and being sympathetic toward a young woman living alone, they quickly agreed. The landlord mentioned that if she wanted to move out immediately, the deposit and any prepaid rent would be refunded to her. Lily expressed gratitude. Once this matter was resolved, she opened her computer and began browsing rental websites. After a thorough search, she still couldn't find anything suitable. Finding accommodation in Nanwu was a real challenge. In a first-tier city, a one-bedroom apartment with fully furnished amenities, close to work, and in a safe area would cost at least $3,000 to $4,000 a month, something beyond her current budget. This was quite difficult for Lily given her financial situation. She felt a headache coming on. Deciding to reach out, she sent a message to Chloe. "Chloe, I'm planning to move. Can you ask your friends if they have any suitable rental places available?" Soon, Chloe called her back. Lily answered. Chloe sounded curious and went straight to the point. "What's going on? Why suddenly move? You paid 3 months of rent not long ago, right?" "Neighbor harassment," Lily said succinctly. She calmly recounted what had happened earlier that day. "I called the police in the early hours and had made a formal report. I'm worried he might retaliate, so it's better to move sooner." Chloe was stunned, processing the information. "Are you okay? Why didn't you tell me this sooner?" "It's nothing serious." He hasn't done anything too extreme before, just knocking on the door. It was safe. You didn't need to come, Lily said. How far are you? It's the middle of the night. Sorry about that, Chloe said apologetically. I thought this place was good, cheap and close to your work, and that's why I recommended to you. You don't have to apologize, Lily chuckled. If you didn't help me find a place, I might have ended up homeless. She added, I like this place too. If it weren't for the neighbor, I'd have signed a long-term lease. So what do you plan to do now? Do you want to stay at my place for a while? No, thanks. Your sister-in-law just gave birth to her second child, Lily said. Going there might make things uncomfortable for them, and I don't want to be a burden. I'll find something. No big deal. Chloe's family was large. Besides a married older brother, she also had a high school-age younger sister, and everyone still lived together. Usually, after work, Chloe had to help look after her sister and nephew. Knowing her family situation, Chloe didn't insist further and sighed again. Why don't you go to your mom's place? I haven't told her I'm in Nanwu. Why? Too busy. I'll deal with it later. Lily changed the subject playfully. Thinking about it, I'm a bit regretting my impulsiveness. My neighbor looked like he had legs as thick as tree trunks, and if you tried to chop them off with a knife, it'd take at least half an hour. Chloe couldn't help but roll her eyes. You're exaggerating. That's why I'm scared, Lily said slowly. If he holds a grudge, he might try to get back at me. He might even show up again. What? I'd probably need a chainsaw to fight him. Lily hung up the phone. She opened another rental website and scrolled again. After a long while, she still couldn't find anything suitable. She decided to close the computer, get up, and take a shower. Moving was not something that could be rushed. If she settled for a place hastily and it turned out worse than her current apartment, it wouldn't solve anything. In fact, it might just waste her time, energy, and money. She thought if she still hadn't found a new place in 5 days, she'd figure something out at that point.